All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the One Take Podcast. I'm Sean, your host here, and I'm back with my friend here, SytYoshi. Welcome back, Yoshi, to the
Thank you
podcast.
for having me back.
Of course, it's been a while since we talked um, Cobra Kai, anything related, but season 5 has been out for, I think, a month now. So,
Yeah.
and we seen it. We talked about it on Discord, like on our text, and now we finally get to talk about it in voice now with our spoiler thoughts. So, before going into season 5, what did you think of the previous seasons beforehand? Like, you like the previous seasons beforehand,
I like the previous
obviously.
season. Yes.
And
And go ahead.
sorry, what I was gonna say, do you have like a personal favorite season so far?
Um, I forget exactly what season it was, but Daniel went back to Okinawa, I feel that kind of
That was season 3, I
that was
believe.
season three. So I feel that that kind of brought the whole story full circle because he goes back to Okinawa, gets to see people that he met from Karate Kid Part Two, and kind of I don't know, put a full brought a full circle arc to
It
the
brought,
Karate Kid.
yeah, it brought a nice bow to, like, the Miyagi legacy
Mhm.
with season 3. Um, I do think with each season they have been improving upon their cinematography and their choreography for sure. Like the fight choreography is still top notch in this show, man.
Oh, for sure. That's the one thing they do very well in this series.
Like I don't know how everyone else on like TV and movies screws up fight scenes except for mostly Cobra Kai. Like they just shoot it really well. It's well shot. There's no quick cutting or anything like that. You could see what's happening clearly. Like I just don't get why it's so hard for producers and filmmakers to do what Cobra Kai is doing in fighting scenes.
It just
Uh,
feels all the fighting scenes feel very natural for the most part. Nothing seems very forced or un, unbelievable. So that's what I appreciate about it.
yeah, and I think what also helps too is that the you see the actors doing like the stunts too. Like everybody's doing their own stunts as well. So it makes it more feel more realistic in a way. Um so going into season 5, we ended in season 4 with I believe Kreese going to jail
Yeah,
and Silver took over the franchise rights of Cobra Kai.
right. Well, he forced the issue with taking over Cobra Kai with what he did with Kreese, but it was the conclusion of the All Valley
Tournament.
and
Yeah.
tournament, and
They just
yeah,
barely won. So
barely won. But I mean, that fight alone, even without the event, what Tori eventually found out, that was a great match between her and Sam.
oh, every fight in that tournament last season was so good, and I was just like, man, I I just want more of this again. And so we come to season 5 now, which is like a completely different season now with essentially Cobra Kai winning the whole thing. Like they have franchise all over the states, you know? And so now it's up to like Daniel and Johnny to team up and they want to take down the franchise now. Um
Daniel brought a friend this time too.
oh yeah, we can't forget that he brought a good friend from
That was
Japan. We cannot forget
probably
that at all.
that was probably the most exciting part of how season four wrapped up was the slow reveal of because you kind of got I kind of did get the sense of at first I thought he was talking specifically to Miyagi, but then as they slowly pan, like, is it Johnny he's talking to? And then when they revealed Chosen, it's like, oh wow, this is actually happening.
So I wanted to go straight away into Chosen actually, because he was actually my favorite aspect of this whole season. Because oh my god, I love this man so much.
He was he was part great drama, the stern instructor, and then almost into stereotypical Japanese drunkenness. The bar scene was pure gold for me.
Oh my god, that was great. And then him and Johnny and Daniel bonding over dancing and drinks, just oh, so funny. I love the chemistry with them three. Honestly, they have a natural chemistry together, which I like for
They
some
didn't use it
reason.
enough this season.
That's what I'm hoping if they do another season that we do get more of that, you know, like more of that chemistry, because I love that them three together. Like Johnny, Daniel, and Chosen, that's a powerhouse team if you ask me.
I don't think those three were utilized together enough this season for sure.
Um, and
But
speaking of Chosen, and we are talking spoilers by the way, just so that we let the audience know as well. It's even in the video as well. It's on the title. Um, I especially loved that they went to Chosen's flashbacks and like how they emphasize his story, more. What's that again?
no, yeah, I totally agree.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just love the characterization of Chosen and that finale fight scene. Honestly, had me worried for a minute there.
I
Like
thought he died. I totally thought he died in that
I
scene.
thought he died. I was like, when Silver cut him, I was like, no, don't you dare do that.
I thought he died, but to me, that would have been a fitting way for him to go out if it was just a one and done season for him. That this is the way he would he this would be an acceptable death for him. But then when he popped out later on, I was like, oh, how did you survive?
Chosen's a tough bastard, man. I love
Yeah,
it. And speaking of Terry Silver, man, what a villain he is this season. Freaking, uh, the Thomas Ian Griffith who plays him is such a good actor who plays Terry Silver. Yeah,
he did a very good job, but I was kind of disappointed how he went out. Honestly,
I did feel like he could have gone out a better way because I do think that was the only thing I didn't like is that they. Well, one of the things I didn't like was that the villain kind of let out a lackluster way this season, you know.
yeah.
Whereas the last season with Kreese going to jail, that shock was a little more shocking to me, considering that Silver and him are buddies, you know.
It was shocking, but it made sense when you thought about it. But it's like it was totally in the way they were slowly. Silver got his own mind rolling and how to his own motivations, so that while it was shocking, it was you could see it. This season, the way he went, I was like kind of lackluster in my opinion.
I agree. I do think it could have been handled better with the finale for Silver, to me at least.
Because
Um,
when they revealed that obviously Kreese escaped from jail, I was like, he escaped from jail, and then Silver and Kreese were gonna fight each other to, maybe not totally for maybe necessarily control, but just for revenge's sake. Kreese wants his dojo back, and I'm just gonna beat the heck out of you.
that would probably have been a more logical way to end the season, honestly.
Maybe
Uh,
not logical, but more satisfying. Especially the way they had Kreese on the sidelines, but trying to call the shots.
yeah, speaking of Kreese, he had the prison storyline in this season, right? He was in prison the whole time.
Yeah, he had a brief jail sequence. You got some, maybe hints of possibly trying to be redemptive arc, but now it just turned out to be like same old Kreese at the end.
You know, that's just the beauty of Martin Kove's performance too, though, is that you don't know when he could just. It's like a snake, like literally like a cobra. He can bite you like nothing, and you would not see it coming. Like
Yeah,
I just
I
love,
was
yeah.
no, I think when the psychologist called him out on it, and you think maybe he can be redeemed, but no, not at the not at the end.
Again, I've always loved Martin Kove as Kreese. I've always respected that guy ever since he's retweeted a lot all of my podcast reviews. So, I mean, yeah, I Martin Kove's awesome as Kreese.
He
So,
plays Kreese so well.
and speaking of that storyline, we had some interaction again with him and Tori. I think Tori visited him in prison.
Oh yeah, she's the one. She was the one kind of keeping it Kreese apprised of what's going on with Silver and how to maybe upend his plans or to like sabotage him. So those two have a very unique relationship. Put it very father daughter relationship.
It seems that way. I just think Kreese is also just very protective of her, considering what happened to her in season three as
Yes,
well.
for sure.
Yeah. I think she was promoted to main cast, in the last season. I think season four. So it's nice to see Tori have a lot of character development too throughout the seasons. Like at first she was so villainous, but now she's like an anti-hero of some sorts.
I
That's how I
I
see it.
I wouldn't go anti-hero. I understand her logic. This the way her character is just so tragic in ways.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah, I
Like
no,
I
I
root for
definitely
Tori.
understand too, because you see her story in season three.
Mhm. Like
Um,
all the all the outside forces just brings her back. The story. It's a story of people trying to make different choices, but then outside forces just drag them back to them running to where they're almost running in place. And almost to Amanda's point early on in the season, it's like I thought we were done with this.
oh man, and also who was also promoted to main cast member this season was Dallas Dupree Young, who plays Kenny. You probably remember Kenny from last season, who beat the shit out of fucking Russo's son.
He deserved it though.
He deserved it. I will say he definitely deserved it because he was being a little bitch towards Kenny. So like, yeah, I don't think he should have seen it coming.
Oh, totally. He took it too far this season, but in his, again, Miri, he took it. He's become this sweet character where you can understand or I understood his actions of just wailing on Larusso's son, but now he's become, he's crossed that line to where he's the antagonist. Now it's like, stop. This isn't you, or this should not be you.
Kenny has such an interesting arc too, because like you see him go from this innocent young boy to fucking like a crazy like extreme martial
He's the leader of
artist.
Cobra now, or
Yeah, exactly. He's essentially a little Silver, a little Terry Silver Crease now. But I don't know if he's going to go to that extent because at the end of the season, it seemed like he was like abandoning Cobra Kai, right?
I never know the writers are pushing the characters if and when Kreese reassumes control of the dojo because it's they like to the writers like to put a crossing the lines back and forth every time, and once you think I have all the characters their alignment figured out, they continue to swap them back and forth, which it is what it is at this point.
One of my favorite characters that has been really developing himself too, is Hawk. Um, I really like Hawk lately.
Hawk has come a long way since season one.
He has come a long way, and I really, really like him now. Like, he's one of my favorites. Uh, like, he's really, really pushed the redemption arc to the extreme at this point now. And then Dimitri. Dimitri's hilarious, as always, too.
Yeah,
But I
he
feel
is
like we didn't get enough of him, though, this season.
he's more the wingman this season. He was
Yeah.
always either helping with Johnny or being Hawk's wingman, so to speak. So yeah, he was there, but very sparsely in scenes.
Now, Miguel's storyline. Oof, Miguel had quite the storyline this season, too. Um,
Miguel really had a ride this season.
dude, like, I mean, so we essentially follow Miguel from last season. He goes to Mexico to find his dad. So, and Johnny starts to feel bad and goes after him. And so, and obviously, Johnny goes into some fights in Mexico and stuff like that, which, yeah. And Johnny accidentally reveals that his mom is pregnant with his child. And it's like, oh,
It's a very Johnny reveal, though.
it's so Johnny. It's so Johnny. That's why I love it. Ugh. You know, William Zabka has always been my top performer for this show because he's just so good at playing Johnny. Like, I never thought, like, because when this show was first pitched, I don't know if anyone was clamoring at the idea of Johnny having a redemption arc, but gee, man, Johnny is just such a fascinating character, like, even from the start, and still is to now.
For sure. There's the earnest try hard in his actions, whether they utterly fail or barely succeed certain ways. Like the whole gig gig contract guy was hilarious. And I commented to you in Discord, like, would you want him as your Uber driver?
Oh, when we talked about that, that was I don't know if I want him as my Uber driver, but he would be an interesting guy to talk to during an Uber drive.
Oh, totally.
um, so what else? Oh yeah, speaking of which, Carmen was pregnant with his child. That was
Yeah,
crazy to find out.
that was a little shocking. I didn't think that would happen this fast at all.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, good for Johnny. I mean, he has a relationship that's healthy, it seems like.
So far,
So
it seems
far. I mean, okay, did they confirm season 6 or did they not confirm season 6?
they do not know, and I assume if you don't know, then who knows?
Yeah, I don't think they did yet. So this is, I mean, I would hope they did because they kind of ended on a cliffhanger, right? On this season. I
Yeah, it
feel
was
like it was a cliffhanger.
the only. I mean, the only cliffhanger was Kreese escaping
Faking
from
his
jail.
death, right?
Yeah,
It's so funny that he just used Jello.
I was wondering where they were going with that. I was like, shouldn't they be able to recognize it? But anyway, uh,
Man.
I
So,
needed. I missed the grandmother though. The grandmother needed to be more seen.
oh yeah, you're talking about Miguel's grandmother. She is
Yeah.
so funny. I love her so much. Ugh. So, the one thing I did not expect in this season was to see Mike Barnes from Karate Kid 3. Did you expect that?
No, but then like I mentioned earlier, I've never seen Karate Kid 3, so I read articles that he was back, but to me, his appearance made no significant impact on my viewing. So that was an interesting angle that they pursued this season.
It was just so weird seeing, but maybe not weird, but it was just so interesting seeing like all these characters coming back from all the movies and stuff like that. So I'm just curious to see if they are gonna bring in like Hilary Swank from like the next Karate Kid or something like that.
Like, how many more threads can they pull?
I mean, it's true. I mean, I feel like isn't this technically all the bad guys in the OG Karate Kid at this point?
I would think so.
I think
Yeah,
so,
pretty
right?
much.
Unless if they want to make up some new bad guys for Cobra Kai, but
And
how
that could
far
be
the
refreshing.
it could be refreshing, but how far could they go with it? Is my question. Because this is season 5 now, and like I think the show's still really strong. Like it's still at its peak right
No,
now.
I kind of think it's kind of stale at this point. That's the impression
Well,
I had this
I do
season.
think some things have been kind of stale. Like I do think some of the jokes have been kind of getting lamer a little bit at times. And I do think that the whole Johnny still figuring out technology type thing is a little getting old at this point, you know?
No, that I can honestly see there's some basis in
Oh,
reality for
really?
that.
You know, well, I guess so, yeah. That there is some truth to that, honestly.
So here's one more thing I did love about this season that I really did like was the whole chosen sequence at Miyagi Do. That was for me that was beautifully done to the lessons and how it was filmed and how it was acted. It just fit the whole essence of Karate Kid. It kind of like didn't carry on Miyagi's legacy.
Yeah, it also brings it back to circles back to like, the season 3 when he went to Japan and stuff like that. Like it just brings back that whole Miyagi legacy. It's full circle. And it's like it touches my heart whenever they just mention Mr. Miyagi.
hmm When they actually went into his room, you actually see it for the first time. I think this entire series run.
It's so good. And I do like this show still. I do think I do see what you're saying that it could be a little stale at times. Like I
So one
just
thing I would say, so one thing I thought they were going to do is okay. They have this new tournament that they throw into that Silver's gunning for, and I thought that was going to be the build up, the tension build up towards the
that's
end of
what
the
I
season,
thought too.
and then carry that over into season 6. But then they just ended it. It's like that was a little anticlimactic, personally.
It
And
was a little
then
anticlimactic now that I think about it.
because yeah, once Terry pitches this idea, cool. This is the buildup. This is going to be the sparring and the rising tensions between all between dojos and whatnot, or the two dojos, and the outside fights are inevitably going to occur. But no, they just settle it either later that episode, maybe, or the next episode. And it's like that was nothing.
Yeah,
So
that was a little anticlimactic, I do agree, but I mean, I still think the positives are far outweigh the negatives here in this season. Like there's still a lot of great entertaining moments in it, and especially from Chosen, who is was my MVP this season, personally.
yes. I
And
guess my go ahead.
one more thing, Amanda is still being the voice of reason to everyone.
Oh, totally. 100%. Although that
Yeah.
bar fight was fun. I thought she was gonna have a tussle in herself instead of having Sam to basically take all the punches, do all the punches.
What were you gonna say before was talking about that?
So I guess my whole thing with sitting and watching season 5, my whole thing was there's so much focus on Daniel these days, and the main reason I got into Cobra Kai, starting from season 1, from the net when it was on Netflix, is this was Johnny's story. This was Johnny's redemption arc, and seeing trying to have him reestablish the dojo, reestablish Cobra Kai through his eyes, and almost all the weight has shifted to Daniel. It's like kind of lost steam for me this season.
You know what? I think I see why is because Silver is technically not Johnny's villain. He's technically Daniel's villain. That's what I
Right.
mean. And I get that, but also I do agree that it did take away the focus of Johnny, and I do miss that because I actually think Johnny is my favorite character still of the show overall.
He was the fresh perspective.
He
He was the one
yeah.
trying to rebuild his life, trying to rebuild through the dojo, and he brought in all these relationships, and then it seems like through the nostalgia wave and through the way it was plotted out, they had to make Daniel's front and center, and so it's like this is great. But here we are in season 5. I kind of want to go back to Johnny's perspective on things.
So what I'm hoping then from season 6 is that they just mainly focus on Johnny more because I kind of miss that as well. Like, I just thought he was the more compelling character to me as well than Daniel, because that's just me at least.
Well, I mean, back to my original to Amanda's observation early in the season is like we had it necessary the push and pull. We bringing Daniel and Johnny together back and forth, and then trying to let everything settle with the tournament, and then let that like you said, once this was done, they can go back to their lives, and then we can go back to Johnny. But it's like the writers decided to put Daniel still as the front focus of everything, instead of maybe Johnny had an idea of how to thrust push Silver out of the way.
I don't know. We'll just see what Netflix will do. We don't even know. They didn't even renew it yet, so we'll see what they'll do if they do an eventual season 6. Um, again, I just hope what I hope if there is a season 6 coming, I just hope for more focus on Johnny and like maybe like go back to a little bit more basics in what I'm saying because I like
Well,
the show,
on
but
his part, too.
yeah, but I just think like it needs to go back to that tone of season 1 and 2 again, personally.
Yeah. I mean, it very could well be, since it's essentially everyone's starting from scratch again.
True, it is in a way you could say is starting from scratch again, and I do think that there is a way that they could almost like semi reboot it in the next season, you know?
Mhm.
Apparently they're making a new Karate Kai, not Cobra Kai, sorry, Karate Kid movie
Yeah, I heard,
that's not related to this. I don't
which
know how
is
I
wild.
feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
either. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned your favorite character yet.
Oh, I was actually gonna wait for that moment
Okay, we
until.
can wait for that.
You know what? This is gonna be my last thing I'll talk about then. So, Stingray, my boy Stingray is back. My, I did not expect that to have him such a big role in this season.
Oh yeah.
My, Paul Walter Hauser, man, so funny, such a good actor in what he does. I mean, it's believable with what he went through.
Oh, totally.
It's so believable. But honestly, I'm so glad with what he did at the end, though. So yeah, Paul Walter Hauser, I'm so glad they got him back because I think he's a super underrated, talented actor who I thought was super talented also in Cruella and I, Tanya. I saw also with him in it. Stingray.
When he was describing the plot, and in in a way he was comfortable describing it, that was, I don't know, that was just enjoyable for me. I don't know how it played to everyone else in the audience, but that was very
No,
enjoyable.
I loved it. I loved it too. Like he's just that entertaining to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, just having. I mean, he had a he had the bit role of bringing Kreese down at the end of season 4. It's like, okay, he's gone, bye. And then season 5, he basically saves the day at the end.
He basically brings down Silver at this time around. Could we say Stingray's the secret hero of Cobra Kai?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Come on, he was the one that put them away.
Yes, he is, but I'm not ready to go there yet.
And bring back Stingray for Cobra Kai season 6.
Stingray's one of the new senseis. Gosh.
I would absolutely love that idea. Oh man.
He starts all he absconds with Silver's payoff and starts his own dojo.
He shows up the All Valley tournament with his own team of fucking.
Such a Stingray move, though.
That would be so great, honestly. That would be such a Stingray move, and it'd be great. I would love that.
That could be the new focus, the new POV.
Freaking hire us, Cobra Kai writers. Man,
No,
we got
please
this shit.
don't.
We got this shit locked down for season 6.
That'll be the ultimate underdog Karate Kid story. Stingray's dojo, ragtag dojo wins all Valley.
Defeating Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai at the same time.
Who do I root for?
It's like, who do I root for? Stingray? Is he the real hero? Well, I think we talked enough of season 5. Did we, you think?
No, I do. One more thing, I do like. It's hopefully the hatchet has been buried between Sam and Tori, because I think those two combined makes a great team, and it just pained me to watch them one misunderstanding after another fight it out this season.
I don't think they'll do that if they were going to do another season, considering how this ends. With them.
Right, but it's just it would make it. Those two would pair well together.
It would be the ultimate tag team.
Yeah. So maybe season 6 is Kenny's redemptive arc.
That's what I'm thinking. Probably Kenny will have some, because he's main cast member already. So I'm thinking he'll have some sort of presence. Carmen's pregnant, so I'm assuming John. Well, will we see Johnny as a father? Oh my god, doing fatherly duties.
I would almost think they would have to do it, since if they planted. Oh, thinking back to the bar scene, if Kumiko comes over from Okinawa, see the love story between him and her and Chosen.
Oh my god, that'd be so sweet. Everything. We're just thinking of everything for season 6. Let's just write it. Just kidding. No, it's not write it.
No,
let's not do that. It's not do. We're not the Cobra Kai showrunners, guys. Well, I think that's enough of season 5 talk, is it? I think we pretty much delved into the whole big topics of season 5, right?
One more thing I want to point out, I mentioned to you over Discord, they needed a better cast of the Korean dojo, the sensei. It's like, I commented to you over Discord, it's like, these guys came out of a video game, a bad kung fu video game.
It's like as if you took them from like a 2000s like NPC video game and then just plot them in there.
It's like, as soon as they came out of the plane, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where did you guys? Why? They couldn't have picked a better. Just something about the way
they were probably paid extras, honestly.
Sure enough, but it's just like, what video games did you come out of? Or maybe I just played too many video games at this point. But
I feel like even video games have done better at this point in some ways.
That could be too. I just something about that whole sequence rubbed me the wrong way. The leader was fine. She
But
scared the
the rest of them were just so
yeah.
weird.
It was just her supporting cast. Like, no, you just shove them to the side or something. Even though they did help, even though they were part of the final sequence in Silver's house, but still, just that.
I feel like they've had barely any impact other than the finale.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
that's just
if she comes back though, oh, I wouldn't mind having her as a outside foil.
like as like an outside force doing
Yeah,
something else. Maybe,
well,
yeah, I could see that happening.
s- I think cause I don't. She got under Tori's skin and pushed her, even though maybe her motivations were good, but she did push her. So I wouldn't mind her coming back for season 6 if there was a season 6.
Again, we don't know, but
I
we'll
know.
see what Netflix does.
So,
Kind of worried.
so honestly, would you want a season 6?
Yeah, just to wrap everything up, honestly. I think they could do one or two more and that's it at this point. Like I think there's I think they just have enough to just do one or two more seasons and that's it.
Yeah, I feel like this story, the way they ended with Kreese escaping was not enough a cliffhanger to hook me back into a season 6. It would have to be something monumental to really get me excited to see it. I'll be if it does come out, I'll watch it for sure. But it's like almost out of obligation.
Yeah, I can see that, but I am curious to see if it is gonna get one though, because it still hasn't been renewed, like we said. So I don't even know if it has been renewed. So, and
I
I'm
mean,
usually up to date.
all the publications that I've personally glanced at, they say it's popular. It's still popular, and you know, ha- popular, especially for Netflix these days.
It
So
always hits number 1 when it premieres.
right. So I do they are is Netflix willing to kill its cash cow at this moment? Who's to
Netflix
say?
has been making a lot of weird decisions lately, if you think
All the
about it,
time,
though.
Netflix been
So
making weird decisions. So, but be that as it may, yeah, I'm on the fence at this point, honestly.
yeah, that is. We'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
at this point. We'll see how. I want to see footage to see how I feel about a season 6. But
Yeah,
yeah.
where's she going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it almost have to be Johnny post delivery almost to see all the hype he gets up to. It's his own. There'll be his own spin-off. Johnny at home with the baby.
Full House of Johnny.
Johnny, Chosen, and Daniel and the baby. Stick him in a. Stick him
Oh
in a.
my god, the three fucking senseis? The three senseis? That's what should be
Stick him in a
named.
baby.
Oh,
Oh gosh, all the hijinks.
there's our Netflix spin-off.
No, 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 don't.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's good enough on our spoiler talk of Cobra Kai season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good season. Not great, but still a
good
good season.
season. Not the best season, but good season in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Yoshi, for joining me
Thank you
on
for inviting me.
on this podcast again for Cobra Kai. Our fifth one talking about Cobra Kai now. So, wait, is this our fifth? Yeah, we talked about season 1 and 2 already, and we did talk about season 3, 4. So yeah, this is our fifth one. All right, well, I hope there's other news eventually someday that will be big that we get to talk about. Maybe if there's another Nintendo Direct, we get to talk about the Direct again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I didn't get to talk about the last Direct with you, but I would have loved to have talked about that last Direct with you when it premiered. But
Time later.
what was that again?
There's always time later.
There is. I have a feeling there's gonna be one soon, before the end of the year at least. Um,
We'll save that for another day.
we'll see. All right. Well, Where can they
Where
find you online, Yoshi? Just so that they know again.
you can barely find me on Twitter as at SytYoshi. I don't tweet a lot. I just use it for up to date news. But I'm around there on Discord on my various communities. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
And you can find us at One Take Podcast. Again, you can subscribe to the channel, like it, of course, if you like what you see here. Of course, get that notification bell if you want to see more episodes when they upload. And yeah, that's about it. I do have another episode coming soon this Monday, a Halloween episode with my top 10 movies to watch for the Halloween season. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for joining us again, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.